I had just started dating this girl. She was a bit of an adrenaline junkie, so she suggested we have a date at Six Flags one summer day. For the record, I've never liked theme parks, fairs, carnivals, or anything of that sort. They've always terrified me. Everything just goes way too fast and way too high. I tried to convince her to pick someplace else, but she was set on Six Flags. So I drove us there and bought the tickets. At first, we went on all the rides meant for kids, which were the only semi-sensible creations in the whole park. Then treated my date to lunch. My date was done with what she called the appetizer rides and was ready to start going on the big ones. I knew it was useless trying to talk her out of it, but I still gave it my best shot. This only made her upset with me though, so I caved. Instead of starting small and working our way up, my date now wanted to go straight to the biggest, tallest, fastest ride in the entire park. Apparently, so did everyone else. The line was almost 2 hours long, dragging out the nerve-wracking wait to an eternity. My anxiety at the start was already through the roof, but with every single step, it just got worse and worse. When we got to the front of the line, almost every cell in my body was telling me to back out, except for a certain cluster that was dragging me along and forcing me to do whatever this crazy woman wanted. We went to the back of the coaster, but I told my date to sit in the cart in front of me. She was a little confused, but I didn't want to tell her it was in case I threw up in the middle of the ride, so I wouldn't throw up on her or anyone else. A few seconds later, a park employee started coming around and checking the restraints, and I knew it was too late to back out now.
Excuse me, sir? I don't think my bar went all the way down. Sir? Sir?
Please keep your arms and legs inside the ride at all times. Thank you.
Oh, shit. God damn it, I hate this so much. Please just let me live.
Isn't this so much fun?
Yeah, this is so much.
Woo!
I think I'm gonna throw up. Huh? What the hell? Stop the ride! Stop the ride!
Why? What's wrong?
Look at this shit, it's broken!
Why? What's wrong?
What the hell am I supposed to do?
I don't know. Just try to hold on tight.
Hold on, bitch, I'm gonna die!
You don't have to be mean.
Hey, wait a second, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to call you that, I'm just scared. Oh shit, help! Somebody help me! Ah! Help! Somebody help me! Ah! Ah! Help! Somebody help me! Ah! Help! Somebody help me! Ah! Ah! No!
I was unconscious for several days, but out of spite to all the death traps that people call roller coasters, I miraculously survived. I sustained severe injuries that took years to recover from, and after the whole ordeal, that bitch who made me get on the ride left me, and I haven't heard from her since. I ended up suing the park and won with an open and shut case, but if I could go back in time and choose between winning $3 million in a lawsuit and not plummeting to almost certain death, I know that I'd rather not live through that again. This story was inspired by a horrific Six Flags incident that happened on May 16 of 1999. 37-year-old Michael Dalweeby from Olean, New York, was unable to close his lap bar properly and was ejected, falling approximately 9 feet from the ride of the steel roller coaster, as the ride went over a camelback hill, resulting in him suffering serious injuries. The victim sued the park and the ride manufacturer for negligence and was awarded $2.85 million following a court case.
I went to Six Flags with my entire high school friend group right after we graduated. We weren't a huge group, just me, 3 other guys, and 1 girl named Sasha. Since there was an odd number of us, one person usually had to be on their own or sit next to a stranger during the rides. Nate and Alex were the clowns who always rushed to sit together first, and it was pretty obvious that Eric and Sasha were rapidly becoming a thing, so that left me to take one for the team. I didn't mind it though. It gave me the opportunity to sit with other cute girls myself. Unfortunately, on one ride, some creepy weirdo came into the picture. He approached us towards the end of the line and asked if he could ride with us. The guy looked like an incel and was easily 10 years older than us. Despite my hesitation, Nate and Alex's dumbasses welcomed him into our group, saying I finally had a ride buddy. It was obvious they were trying to poke fun at me, but I tried to not let it ruin my day. Now that everyone was paired up, nobody bothered talking to me in line anymore, leaving me alone with the weirdo. What made things awkward was how I had to casually break the silence and make small talk with the guy. He constantly had this weird look on his face and kept glancing over at Sasha even when I was talking right to him. I quickly realized he'd only joined our group because of her. The guy would whisper how hot she was, asking if she had a boyfriend, if she was 18 yet, all that kind of creepy shit.
So, that girl hanging with you guys, you think I got a chance?
No, that's Eric's girl.
What's her at? Or even better, her number? Come on, give it to me.
Why don't you go ask for it yourself? I'm sure her boyfriend would love that.
Oh, come on. I know that loser probably got friend zoned. You telling me you guys walk around with that piece of ass and none of you hit it?
Dude, back off. She's our friend.
Your friend with benefits, right?
Dude, what's wrong with you?
I don't mind being part of the train.
The disgusting comments were non-stop. I couldn't even get out of our conversation to tell everyone else just how much of a creep this guy was. He followed us around for a couple of rides. Then it eventually started to get dark, and I was worried he was going to try and leave the park with us. On one of the last rides we had left, there were 3 seats in each row. The creep sat in the cart to the left of Nate and Alex, and myself, Sasha, and Eric sat in the cart behind them. It was relieving to finally have some space away from that guy. As soon as the ride started and the roller coaster started climbing upwards, the guy turned his head exorcist style and stared at Sasha the entire time. He had a sickening grin on his face too. All my friends thought it was funny and laughed it off, even Sasha, but I was petrified. I thought he was going to get out of the restraint and climb over to get her. After that ride, I truly wanted nothing to do with this guy, but I knew we had about 2 rides left that we wanted to check out before leaving. The next one we went to had bathrooms right outside the entrance. Sasha said she needed to sit this one out and use the bathroom, encouraging us to go without her. By then, it was nighttime and the park was closing soon, so the wait was very short. At the end of the line, there was a bit of confusion as to who was going to ride on their own, since we had an odd number again. But then the creep suddenly started clutching his stomach and ran off. He yelled something about how he needed to take a shit, so it worked out for the rest of us. That's when Eric asked me to sit next to him. I did. Then the ride started, but I couldn't enjoy it. I was suspicious about what that guy was really doing, and I wish I'd gone after him when I'd had the chance. When it was over, I quickly got out and hurried over to the bathroom. Everyone came after me, confused about what was going on with me. That is, until we heard screaming from the women's bathroom. We rushed inside and saw the creep on top of Sasha. He was holding her down with a knife at her throat. All 4 of us charged in and pulled him off her. We got him away from Sasha, but that freak was so fast with the knife. He stabbed and slashed all 4 of us. The bathroom was covered in blood by the time other people heard the screaming and started piling in. At the last second, the psycho split. He carved his way through the crowd and ran off. All of us were taken to hospital. Sasha was fine physically, but not mentally. The wounds that Nate, Alex, and I got weren't severe, but Eric got stabbed in the gut and had to have surgery. The monster who did this to us was eventually caught and arrested, thankfully, but he did permanent damage to our friend group. For anyone wondering, Eric and Sasha did end up getting together, but sadly, their relationship isn't very healthy. The only thing holding them together at this point is our shared trauma from that nightmare trip to Six Flags. This story was inspired by a disturbing Six Flags incident that happened on July the 8th, 1997. 4 young men were stabbed at a Six Flags park after coming to the aid of a female friend of theirs who had been physically harassed by another parkgoer named Rashid Kareem Friday. When her 4 companions came to her defense, an altercation ensued, and Friday stabbed, all 4 males. The 4 victims were taken to hospital, where one underwent abdominal surgery for his wound. The suspect was then taken into custody and charged accordingly. I'm married with 2 kids, my son and daughter. We recently went to Six Flags and I brought my nephew with us. The boys are about the same age, so they get along well and have fun together anytime my brother drops him off with me. It was everyone's first time except for my nephew. My wife and I always get nauseous when we go on roller coasters, so we never went as a family. But my brother said his kid loved riding them, so we thought my son might too. We were told the very start of the summer is the best time to go, and that seemed to be the case. The weather was warm but not too hot. There was a decent amount of people without it being too crowded, and in general, the wait times weren't outrageous. We mostly let my nephew show our son the ropes, since we didn't know the first thing about which rides were worth it and which ones were a bust. Surprisingly, my son didn't seem to inherit the dizziness genes, as he was having a blast. My daughter was a little too young for it all, though, so my wife stayed with her and showed her the other stuff the park had to offer, while I followed the boys and made sure they got on and off the ride safely. Everything seemed to be going just fine, but I had one nagging feeling in the back of my mind. There was a particular ride the boys kept raving about. My nephew kept calling it the coolest thing in the world, saying my son had to prepare for it by riding everything else first, otherwise he wouldn't be able to handle it. The ride was called X2, and I could see it towering over everything from just about every spot in the park. Something about it just didn't sit right with me, though. Maybe it was too tall, or looked too complicated, but I knew those were all things that supposedly made it more attractive to people who liked roller coasters. I didn't want to deprive the kids of having a good time, so I made sure to ask my son if he really did want to go on that ride. But when he gave me a very enthusiastic yes, I didn't push it. Eventually, it came time for the boys to line up for X2. The wait for it was a lot longer than anything else so far, so I settled onto a bench near the ride where I'd be able to see where my boys were going. I think I watched it go by 100 times before they were finally up. By then, I'd gotten quite used to the sounds people made when they flew by, but when the boys were on it, something was different. I just remember hearing them screaming, but this time, I couldn't tell if they were enjoying it or not. They zipped by so fast, I couldn't get a look at them either. It was just a blur. Then, about a minute later, the 2 of them come walking out of the exit. I immediately saw that something was off about them this time. My nephew was more or less the same, just looking concerned. The reason for that was my son, who was stumbling around and red in the face. I figured his genetics had finally caught up with him, and he was about to get sick, so I ran over to help him. Once I got there, I started to realize things were much worse than I thought. Hey, kiddo, you were right. You look a little sick.
I'm fine. I just need to...
It's all right. Come here. If you need to throw up, that's okay. Just come over to the bushes here.
No,
It's okay, bud. Just let it out. You'll feel better after. It happened right before my eyes. He couldn't make it to the bushes. He opened up and vomited right there, but he was vomiting blood. It sprayed everywhere, all over us. Everyone around us started to panic and scream. It was like that scene from The Exorcist, but it was happening to my son. Before I knew it, he collapsed. I didn't know what else to do, so I picked him up and ran for help. I rushed him to the hospital, hoping they could find out whatever was wrong with him and save him. It was an absolute disaster, as I abandoned everyone to get him there as soon as possible. In the end, it was hopeless anyway. The doctors couldn't save my son. He died later that day. The coroner was able to confirm that his death was caused by a major brain bleed as a result of major head trauma. With that in mind, we can only draw one conclusion. My son hadn't been playing sports, roughhousing, or doing anything else where he could have hit his head that hard. He was perfectly healthy until he got on that damn roller coaster. Something happened to him on that ride. Something Six Flags should have prevented, but they didn't. And now my son is dead. We're suing Six Flags for wrongful death. We're gonna find out who is responsible, whether it was lazy operators, incompetent designers, untrained construction workers, or greedy, cost-cutting CEOs. Hell, every single one of them could be liable. I'll take them for every red cent they have, because no matter what they do, they can bring back my son. This story was inspired by a devastating incident regarding a perfectly healthy 22-year-old man who unfortunately passed from a brain bleed after riding a roller coaster at Six Flags Magic Mountain called X2. According to a recent lawsuit filed by his family, Christopher Hawley visited the park in Los Angeles County on June 23rd of 2022 with his brother and cousin. All three rode the roller coaster together, which the lawsuit describes as extremely rough, and jerked its riders around like rag dolls. While getting off the ride, Hawley had to hold onto a handrail for support after stating that his head hurt, then collapsed and fell unconscious. He just looked very red, just very something wasn't right, and then he eventually just collapsed on his way off the ride, Hawley's brother said. His family said Hawley was taken to a Six Flags medical tent and then rushed to hospital. The next day, he passed. According to the coroner's report, Hawley passed from head and brain trauma, and a CT scan revealed he suffered a catastrophic right subdural hematoma, a type of brain bleed resulting from the roller coaster. Hawley's family said he was in perfect health and had no pre-existing conditions. They are now suing Six Flags for wrongful death, alleging design defect, failure to warn, and negligence. Six Flags Magic Mountain denied the claims in the lawsuit and have been contacted for further comment.